And now for some specific topics that we covered during Apes. So we go over pollution, both air and water pollution, and how humans contribute to that. We talk about ecosystems and different ecosystems across the world. We go over geology, biodiversity, and how different levels of biodiversity can have impacts on different environments. We also talk about the human population, first how that's changed over time and how in different areas have different populations and how that affects certain areas of the world. We talk about energy, how it's produced and how humans consume it. And we also talk about climate change as well.
Our favorite parts about Apes were all of the hands-on experiences that you get to have, like all the field trips. You can go down to the creek, you go to the flower show in Philadelphia, you go on walks to Giant, you have a lot of lab experiments, and you have trips to the sewage plant, which isn't everyone's favorite, but it's still interesting that you get to go do it. And then you also just learn about a lot of things that like relate directly to you and the earth, so it's kind of interesting, just because a lot of classes you can't relate to the information as much. Penridge students should take Apes because you get to go to all those places that I was just talking about. You can get college credit, which is really good because then you won't have to pay for a college course if you do well on the test. And it's overall just like an interesting class to take.
One thing that everyone should know before taking this course is that it's not necessarily the easy AP everyone says it is. The class is very time demanding and takes an excellent work ethic. You should also know that there are no test retakes, and if you want to be fully prepared for the unit exams, you will need to read the textbook. But if you're willing to put the time and work in, the class will be worth it.
Alright, so the workload for Apes is pretty manageable. It's to be expected for an AP course, typically. And so we usually have 3 to 4 homework assignments per week, and usually a test or a quiz per week, with decent amount of review time, which is good. Also, sometimes we're expected to learn stuff on our own from either like the textbook or from slideshows, but as long as you pay attention to deadlines, you should be good. Also, I guess my favorite thing I learned from Apes so far would definitely be either about the macroinvertebrates, which was a really fun lab that we did, and it was just really interesting to me for some reason. And I also like learning about BMPs because now, like, when I'm out in the world, I think about that kind of stuff, and I definitely did not know about it before Apes. So it's cool to make connections from the classroom to the real world. So yeah, I really enjoyed Apes class this year. Thanks, Mrs. Bates.